they haven't made the Sylvanas origin movie in the video game in terms of who she is currently. They haven't put all of that work in. They haven't actually given us like the equivalent of a jailer origin movie. So we're like, who's this big bald dude with
the jailer's one of the lamest villains they've done in ages.
Yeah, because they haven't ever done him. Whereas, the case for Arthas was, obviously we knew who he was going in, but Ice Crown was all about him. All about him and the Argent, which is where the ultimate big smash at the end was Tyrion representing the Argent and all of their will, all of the hard work, all of the sacrifice they're putting in, versus this villain who is undeniably evil, but we have seen the human element and what happened to the human element of that villain through the kid. I can't remember what his name
was.
Matthias, yeah. The kid, and then destroying his heart, all that shit. All that stuff was like actually done. But I have an example of where transmedia narrative kind of works and doesn't work, because this is actually again, for the second time today, I'm going to talk about Nier, because Nier Automata is an incredible game. I love it to pieces. I spent God knows how many hours on it. I've platinumed it like twice, and went to London to see a concert about it. But I really like everything it's done. There's nothing missing from the game. It's a little bit sort of hard to keep track of sometimes because it was a little bit here and there with different routes, but there are 2 companion novels. There's short story long and long story short. Short story long, they're great. They both have like the emerald head, so together on a bookshelf they look beautiful in black and white. But anyway, one of them is a series of short stories which are mostly used to like flesh out the world in a different time period and flesh out some characters. And it's really nice, but not super core to anything. It's just like, oh yeah, that's really nice for this character's motivations and, what they were before we see them here. But nothing was important. Then in long story short, it was a significantly longer story. It was like 200 or something pages of a standard novel. And it had significant motivations for a character that by the time I was done reading, I was like, oh, I completely think differently about why that character did what they did in the game, because of I know why they were led up to that point and their history. So it's like the short story long stuff with short stories they were additive, they were additions, they were things that I sort of didn't need but were very happy to have. And then long story short was me thinking, this very much feels like all of this stuff should have been in the game or could have been in the game but wasn't.
Yeah.
But if that was there in any capacity, I would have felt this character significantly stronger. So it's like there's an example of the transmedia narrative done right and wrong, where it can be done correctly. It's not necessarily bad to flesh out details and add little more things, but if there's significant swathes of how a character acts hidden in a book that you have to pay extra money for, in this case, not in like Woe's case, but it's just such wasted potential for that character ultimately.
Yeah, and for me it's sad because I do that interview with Steve.
Yeah.
Steve and Morgan Day. And afterwards, all that I could think is, wow, I would love to just sit down, do a Joe Rogan style 2.5 hours with Steve. He's so fun to talk to. He seems like a really nice guy. He really cares about this stuff, and he has so many cool ideas and theories and concepts and stuff. And I guess what then makes me a bit sad is knowing that because some foundational aspects of characters have not been communicated to players with the likes of Sylvanas, it's just ended up, that a lot of that passion and love doesn't hit as well as it should. And I think that's sad because it's a missed opportunity. That's sad because, it's stories that I want to have told to me and stories that I know those developers really want to tell. I wish there was a way where we could get more of that in game. I think it's especially for Sylvanas because they tried to play her as such a mysterious character where you kind of don't know her motivations, but it just didn't end up working out. So I think that the more they go very technical and very cosmic-y, the more the details will matter, and then therefore the more that details being stuffed away in transmedia narrative will hurt them. I think that the people who will enjoy the World of Warcraft lore stuff the most, I mean, obviously they'll self-select into watching lore videos on YouTube, but I genuinely do think that the lore videos that we and others make massively amplify the enjoyment of so many people's World of Warcraft experience, purely because we ensure they know the cool stuff that's going on that they
Yeah.
maybe missed or didn't appreciate. I wish that was less a part of my job and was more a part of my experience as a player.
Yeah.
Even though that would lose us a whole bunch of the dollar, but ultimately I want the game to be good.
Game would be better for it, yeah.